The next structure that we're dealing with is monopoly. Okay. Now, the deal with monopoly is you have a single seller selling a unique product with no substitutes. They have the ability to charge whatever they want, okay, but then quantity they have no power over. Monopoly ke basically, if you look at the notes, there are two definitions that you will see. One definition is that they are the single seller 100% market they have. Pure monopoly is what it's called also. The second one was from the government's definition, 25% market share of one seller. The rest of the market is broken down into small firms. When this single firm has a 25% or more, we say it has a monopoly power. We're going to work with pure monopoly. So the features go something like this. Monopoly के क्या features हैं? And again, obviously, you will have to write and you have to compare sometimes. The product is unique with no close substitute. Great. Number of buyers are plenty. Number of sellers is just one. The sale concentration ratio from a pure monopoly point of view, they have 100%. From the government point of view, they have 25% or more for a single firm. The rest are small. The barriers, we say, it's a highly restricted industry. You have high barriers. Now, there are various ways of these barriers. What kind of barriers? Well, मोनोपली है, पूरी मार्केट को डोमिनेट करती है, तो उसका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी बहुत हैवी होना चाहिए. उसके पास पेटेंट्स राइट्स होने चाहिए about certain respect to certain things. Okay, they might be like, very advanced with the research and development and stuff. Nobody can catch up on that. Okay, so there could be reasons how they can achieve their restrictions. फिर उसके बाद जहाँ तक प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी की बात है, we will see कि they can make, in short run and long run, they will usually make abnormal profit. Okay, they can make normal profits also. Highly improbable that they would have economic loss, but they can have economic loss. Sometimes with monopoly, the thing is, if they are specially essential services, if they're providing, they cannot leave the industry. Usually तो ये होता है, अगर एक कोई perfectly अगर कोई private monopoly है, and if they're not making good profits and they don't see any profits coming ahead, they would shut down immediately. But if it's an essential item, essential service, government will not let them leave. So government can help them through subsidies and things like that for them to stay in the market. That's our features for it. Let's look at the diagrams for it. Plenty of diagrams to go about for monopoly also. Monopoly is a price maker. So when you are a price maker, you have a downward sloping demand curve. What is missing? The MR is missing. When the demand curve is downward sloping, D is equals to AR, and AR is always equals to price. Through formula, we know this. MR, if average revenue is going down, the MR is going to be lower. How low? Basically, MR is going to be the halfway. For example, at this price, अगर two blocks आ रहा है, तो MR will be halfway. इधर अगर 4 blocks आ रहा है, तो MR is going to be halfway. So I've already explained, you can go into chapter number 4 and see to it that how do you plot for this, and this is how you plot MR. Exactly halfway on the demand curve. If your demand curve is going to intersect over here, and this is about 12 blocks, so MR is going to be like 6 blocks on the left. So this is my MR curve. We need, again, no objective is given, so I'll assume it's a profit maximizing monopolist, and a profit maximizing monopolist produces where MR is equals to MC. I cannot say P equals to MC because P is different from MR now. So MR equals to MC is the valid situation. I need my marginal cost. Let me make it. Let's say this is my marginal cost. And MR equals to MC. Kidhar hai MR equals to MC? Right over here. This is the profit maximizing quantity. The price we're going to charge, because we've decided on the quantity, the market will tell us what price consumer is willing to pay. And the consumer is willing to pay this price right here. Okay. Now, this is the starting point for monopoly. In perfect competition, this is where the production would be. More quantity, lower prices. In a monopoly, we see that they are cutting down on the quantity and charging a higher price, creating a dead weight loss over here. You can go and look at the notes for that. So now that we have this, let's go over certain steps a few more times. So for a profit maximizing monopolist, short run ho ke long run ho, they can make all types of profits. First, let's see if there is a normal profit, how would it look like? Normal profit has a condition. Your total revenue should equals to total cost. Or average revenue should be equals to average cost at the QO quantity, the profit maximizing quantity. So what is that? Demand is here, average revenue is here, price is here. We need the MR curve, which is right here. We need our marginal cost curve. And we have our profit maximizing quantity QO, and the average revenue is up there. Average revenue, which is equals to the price. Now, since we're working with normal profit, for a normal profit, what needs to happen is, this is where at QO average revenue is. We need the average cost to cross through this point. So let me do it. And it does. But while I'm doing this, I have to make sure my average cost minimizes on marginal cost also. So there are two things I have to take care of. And then let it go up. Doesn't matter where it goes after that. Once my 2 points are done, I can see average revenue is equals to average cost at QO, which was my profit maximizing objective. So both my situation is following through. Okay. Now, what if we are going for an abnormal profit? For an abnormal profit situation, what we need to have is total revenue should be greater than total cost. But we don't have total revenue or total cost diagrams right now. You can go into chapter 4 and you can take a look at it. In fact, if you look at market structures, perfect competition, and monopoly in notes, I have done through the total and marginal approaches also. The other approach is that the average revenue should be greater than average cost at my profit maximizing quantity. Demand is equals to AR equals to price. Let's plot for MR. So something like this. And my marginal cost. And my profit maximizing quantity, QO, and the price consumer is willing to pay, average revenue O, or the price. Now I'm making for abnormal profit. So at QO, My abnormal profit के लिए this is average revenue, so average cost needs to be anywhere lower than that. So I'll make for it. Let's say I'll just make sure my average cost crosses through this point, and this point is below the average revenue up there. So my average cost is going to come down like this, intersect at this point, minimize on marginal cost, and be on its way up. And right here, I have my abnormal profit key marking. All right. And this is what my abnormal profit looks like. Last, I'm going to do for an economic loss. So for an economic loss situation, the total revenue should be less than total cost. And the average revenue should be less than average cost at the QO, the profit maximizing output levels. So once I have this, same procedure, nothing different, MR is going to be halfway. Okay. In all three cases, I'm trying to make the MCs exactly the same. And my QO and the price given. Now, since I'm going for an economic loss at this QO, average revenue is here. Average cost needs to be a little on the higher side for this. So I'll bring my average cost, minimize it on marginal cost, take it up. At QO, this is where the average cost is, this is where average revenue is, that's my economic loss per unit. Multiply that with the quantity, and I have my economic loss under monopoly.